Dr. Bhumika, Dr. Okomla, Mrs. Bibi Moithin, and Nan Mary Tom.
Hello.
Uh,
Actually, whose presentation is now? Dr. Sunil Karma or mine? Mr.
I
Godwin?
think
Sunil Kamal is the chairperson. Actually,
I,
Andre is the one who is going to present is the first. Am I clear, sir?
yeah, I think it is mine as per the schedule.
sorry, it's mine now. From started from 11. Technical session 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
technical question two. Actually, Dr. Sunil Kamal is the chairperson. Okay. Sir,
Okay.
yeah. Technical
Sorry,
you are
sorry.
the
session
chairperson. You are
two.
the,
Yeah.
yeah. Sunil Kamal, Dr. Sunil Kamal is the chairperson. He is going to moderate the entire technical session two. And Amrit, sir, you are the first presenter. You can go ahead with the stage. Great. The whole session. Am I clear?
So shall I start or what? Can we start now, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have the presenters joined?
Yeah. Check that. Amrit Jabarma, Anita Ada, Amrita Mogar, Niti Jaiswal. All these four participants have you here? Ensure your presence by saying yes and your name.
So your voice is again echoing a lot. I'm unable to comprehend anything. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just called out the list of the names.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. We will begin with this presentation by Amrit Jabarma.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'm here, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'll speak out the names of the presenters. It's Dr. Bhumika Chopra, Dr. Okomla Walling, and Mrs. Bibi Moithin, and Nan Mary Tom.
Hey,
So
वो कैसे फोन करते हैं देखना.
Actually, I got this. Actually, I got the. Yes, I think. I got the wrong. Second, we'll check in a couple of minutes.
is there any confusion? Or
Hello. Hello.
Sunil sir, I read out the names. Actually, what the list we got, the name I read just. Actually,
Sir, your voice is not coming, sir, properly.
we are unable to hear you, sir.
Sir, Sunil Kamal sir.
Yes, sir.
Confusion.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Actually, this is conference number 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the list we got 11 to 12 is the name of the list I just put. Andres, Anita, Amrita, Jeshwar. So do you have the different list given to you?
Yes, I think I have got a different list. Uh, If such is the case, we can simply ask the presenters to go on.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Now the
so
presenter-
we can simply do one thing. We can ask the presenters to introduce themselves one by one, and we can go on with the presentations.
Yeah, yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So dear presenters, welcome to the session, and we are sorry about this inconvenience. So, so please introduce yourselves one by one because you must be having your schedule. So, according to your serial number, you can please go on and give a brief introduction about yourselves, and then we'll go on with the presentation. We'll give you 10 minutes for presentation, and we'll go for a brief round of question and answer, and that's it. So, please, who is the first presenter?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Yes.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for this opportunity to present my topic on this beautiful day. Today, I'm going to share related to my PhD topic. And the topic of my presentation is immigration, identity, and demand for bifurcation, understanding the case of the Pralan movement in Indian state of Tripura. Shall I begin it, sir?
Yeah, sure. Please go
Okay.
on. Yeah.
This is the structure of my presentation. Location of the state of Tripura within India, introduction, conceptualization, aims and objective and methodology, immigration, pre-independence and post-independence, impact on the host society, result discussion and conclusion. This is the location of Tripura. Introduction. Tripura was a princely state. Before joining with the Indian Union, the regent Maharani Kanchan Prabha Devi signed the instrument of accession on 15 October 1949 and declared as his state. Later, it became Union Territory in 1956 and subsequently attained full statehood on 21st January 1972. But the partition of Indian subcontinent and the liberation of Bangladesh, a defining event in the history of Tripura. Millions and millions of documented and undocumented migrants came to settle due to religious persecution and political disturbances. As a result, the host indigenous Tiprasa communities, who once a majority became a minority in their own state. This historical event had adversely affected the indigenous communities politically, socially, culturally, economically. In there, they feel marginalized. And in order to protect and safeguard their identity, the host communities launched various movements, democratic to insurgency, and at the last, they began to demand a separate state within the Autonomous Council. Moving into the next section. The tribes of Tripura belong to Tibeto-Burman and are divided into 10 broad communities. As you can from the, and all these tribes are classified as scheduled tribe. Now, regarding conceptualization and immigration. Immigration refers to movement from one country to another country in search of better livelihood and opportunities. It can be both legal and illegal. Legal immigrants are those who possess official documents like passport, visa, citizenship, etc. And those who do not possess such documents are termed as illegal. Whereas in the case of identity, it may be defined as a distinctive characteristic belonging to any individual or shared by all members of a particular social category or group. When one community dominates other, altering custom, imposing language, grabbing land, culture, the minority communities face identity crisis. Now coming back to pre-independence and post-independence, contextualizing immigrants in Tripura. In the pre-independence period, the migration in the princely state was administrative, political, religious, and economic in nature. Migration takes place from the adjoining areas of undivided Tripura. The magnitude of the migration were very small and invisible during the pre-independence days. However, during the post-independence period, due to migration, the state and the indigenous communities have a huge burden on the resources of the state. As a consequences of this historical event, ethnic conflict occurred between indigenous and the non-indigenous people. Such dramatic change in the democratic structure of the tribal society has adversely affected the tribal society of Tripura. Agartala, the capital of Tripura, became the hub of Bengali refugees who are non-indigenous to the state, and thus I would like to term it as settlers' colony. At present, scheduled tribe population in the state are 31.76% according to census 2011, which showed a considerable decline as compared to the past. 1941, this population was used to be 50.09%. This went as low as 28% in 1981. Such historical event that caused the indigenous people can be called as the minority of the indigenous people. As you can see from the above figure, from 1847 to the percentage of tribal population is 47,523, whereas non-tribal percentage of population is 36, and their total population is 26.700. However, if you see from the census 1941 to 1951, the ST population of tribal changes drastically compared to the non-tribal. Same, it goes unending till 2011. Even in 1971, during the liberation of Bangladesh, the state has suffered a lot in rehabilitating the refugees. So, there's another factor that rehabilitation of the refugees is another factor which impacted the indigenous Chumias land, as the state government prohibited large-scale shifting cultivation, and as a result, share of indigenous land reduced to considerable scene. Prior to partition, they were Bengali, but the number was insignificant. The settlement was slow but steady. Following refugee influx, the state focus was shifted to rehabilitation. By tradition, the indigenous tribe practiced hook or shifting cultivation. Under this system, ownership of the land enjoyed by individual person was neither permanent nor transferable to any person nor inheritable to any other communities. However, with the growth of influx in the region and the settlement of immigrants created a scarcity of land. Next section goes to politics of land energy and legal changes. In 1941, Swasti Samati was created to settle the Bengali refugees. About 6,400 acres of land was given to the refugees from 600 indigenous families. This cooperative violated the regulation of the tribal reserve and began to grab huge tracts of tribal land. In a similar manner, in 1958, Director of Rehabilitation was formed for the administration of refugees and rehabilitation. Under the system, refugees were given shelter, jobs, and opportunities, ration land. As many as 70 colonies were established under the rehabilitation products and continued up to 1961. No initiative was taken to restore tribal inherited land till 1961. Later, 777 square miles of land was reserved in 1941 by the then Maharani Kanchan Prabhu Devi in 1948. Subsequently, the state government too reserved 300 square miles of land by an ordinance out of total 2060 miles square mile. Then followed legal changes to restrict transfer of land, Tripura Land Revenue and Land Reform Act. In this act, it says that no transfer of tribal land to any tribe or non-tribal or any other tribe shall be valid unless with the permission of the court or collector. It was very unfortunate for the tribal that the act did not recognize community-owned land. Being illiterate, not familiar with the law, they were unable to register their own land. So the tribal became state property, which was their sustained and inhabited for centuries. At this point of time, during that time, Dumbur hydroelectric project added more oil to the fire that submerged 23,530.5 acres of tribal land and other additional land for setting up infrastructure. As per official estimated, 258 families were displaced, but this includes who able to produce land deeds and able to secure rehabilitation, whereas it was estimated unofficially over 8,000 to 10,000 or 60,000 to 70,000 people were displaced by the project, while people failed to receive any compensation from the authorities. This is the year-wise influx of displaced person in Tripura. So that Jumia community did not own land. The settlers took control over land by fraudulent means. Immigrant control over land resources, tribal communities from their land, leading to population. Impact of immigration are made indigenous people socially, economic, and culturally handicapped from all aspects of life. It was proved to be one of the major setbacks for the tribal communities' perpetual discrimination. Impact upon tribal identity. Expansion of non-tribal culture and language in the state. The Indus tribal Cockbrock as a result of Bengali influence brought by immigrant. This mixture of Cockbrock and Bengali. Example, Hindi plus English. And there are many factors such as altering the name of the indigenous name, such as Darbar Ground to Children's Park. I mean, all the indigenous name have been transformed or changed to Sanskrit name as per their conveniences. Then, as a response to migration, what happened to the indigenous people? In what they have reacted? So, young tribesmen, indigenous men, decided to form an insurgent group named Sankara, which literally means claims first. In response to that, Bengali settlers too formed their own organization, Amra Bengali. Later, TGS, a political organization formed exclusively for the indigenous communities. Their objective were to set up autonomous district council, recognition of native language, Cockbrock, adoption of Roman script, and restoration of tribal land to non-tribal. Ethnic conflict took place in the 80s, famously known as Mandai Massacre. There are insurgent groups like TNV, NLFT, HTF that came up in successive stage. Their demands were to deport all the Bengali settlers entered after 1956, restoration of tribal Inuit land in the electoral role, while NLFT wants total sovereign country. Later, and Tripura Tribal Autonomous District Council was established in 1985 under 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Now comes the demand for bifurcation. The demand was made by indigenous people from Tripura, regional political party, after unification of all tribal organizations. Following the declaration of new states like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Uttarakhand, the IPFT raised the demand of separate state, Tripuran, covering the autonomous region. According to Article 2 and 3 of the Indian Constitution, the demands were Tripuran statehood movement and report of the high-level committee to look after socio-economic, linguistic, cultural issue, land rights issue, educational issue, strengthening TDSC and health issue for the indigenous people. And lastly, for the recruitment of special recruitment drive for scheduled tribe to amend the sixth schedule of the Indian Constitution, inclusion of Cockbrock native language in the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution. However, their core demand is only Tripuran that can only safeguard the identity of the Tripura community. Thank you. That's it. So I couldn't hear you.
Sir, unmute yourself. Sunil, come, sir, unmute yourself.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, am I audible now? Yeah, thank you very much for this very insightful presentation. And immigration has always been a very complex phenomenon, and we have been seeing it, reading about it since time immemorial. I think this has been perpetual, right, since the very inception of human civilization, and there have been a lot of complexities that have been, breeding along with it. So it was a wonderful, presentation. Yes, any questions, please? No? Well, fine. I would just, a very brief question I would
Yes,
like to
please.
ask is, I'm really keen on speaking a lot about the topic, but then we don't have enough time here. It is not permissible. Uh, As far as Bangladeshi immigrants or immigration crisis are concerned, where do you locate Tripura, and what do you find the way out? What way out do you offer? I mean, what way out do we have to strike a balance?
I think central government should seal the border. There should be surveillance, both from the state as well as from the central government.
Mhm.
And moreover, you see, it's a real fact that even by 2000, you'll get Aadhaar card, voter ID card, ration card, and you become a citizen by 2 days. So there is some lacuna. And to my mind, there should be one migration policy that who comes, who entered in the Indian or who goes out, there should be proper surveillance, there should be proper data. But when you go for the data, there is no availability. There is data, but they won't show you.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
And
let me, sir, let me just complete you. And
Yeah.
you see, there are many instances why such demand has been made, especially because of this immigration, and plus the land, which has been, I mean, the Patna land, which has been very, very, I mean, what to say, it's very complex issue to discuss.
It is. It indeed is. And we'll get back to that. I would like to connect with you because I'm very much interested, in talking about issues pertaining to Northeast because I'm working on Northeastern literature.
Oh,
I'll
thank you.
certainly connect with you. Thank you. Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
And next presenter, we have Anita Alda, who is an assistant professor in the Department of English at KB Women's College, Hazaribagh, Jharkhand, India. And she's going to talk on um, man-nature relationship in Ruskin Bond's Tiger, Tiger, Perfect Pride. So please, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Sir,
Very
I would
good.
like to do the PPT presentation.
Sure,
Can
sure.
you share
Yeah,
my
yeah.
screen?
Ma'am, you have 10 minutes and then we'll have a brief round of
Okay, sir.
questions.
I will
Yeah.
try to conclude. Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Just
So
sharing it.
Okay.
I think, sir, I'm unable to share it as it's not visible. So I think I'm unable to share. It's having some technical glitches. Can I start my paper presentation? Good morning, everyone. I am Anita Alda, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Hazaribagh, Jharkhand. And I'm going to present my research paper entitled Man-Nature Relationship in Ruskin Bonds, short story Tiger, Tiger, Burning Pride. And the contents of my research paper, the presentation will consist of the first, I would like to highlight what is eco-criticism, then rationale of the study. After that, I will go to the objective of the study, then hypothesis, then the methodology, and last the findings and the analysis. And after that, there will be the findings or conclusions involved. So at the very first part of my lecture consists of introducing you with the eco-criticism. Eco-criticism was officially heralded by the publication of two seminal works, both published in 1996. The Eco-criticism Reader, edited by Cyril Grotfelte, and The Environmental Imagination by Lawrence Wool. To define it, Grotfelte writes, eco-criticism is the study of the relationship between literature and the physical environment. And Lawrence Wool defines eco-criticism as a study of the relationship between literature and the environment conducted in a spirit of commitment to environmentalist praxis. And it gives us a clue that eco-criticism is comparatively a new nomenclature in literary creed, and it germinated around one focus, the examination of ecological concern in literary text. Next, I would like to present the rationale of my study. For that, I'm going to give you the introduction of Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond, a prominent Indian writer in English, is renowned worldwide as a nature writer for his charming depiction of the wonder and beauty of the Himalayan foothills. Nature is not merely a backdrop in the short story of Ruskin Bond, but reveals the great proximity between man and nature. The present story, Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright, delineates the miserable condition of our national animal, the tiger in particular, and the wildlife in general. We will find in this story that the natural privacy of animals always gets disturbed either by human habitation or hunters. As Ruskin Bond creates awareness towards the natural world, and hence it attracts the attention of eco-criticism. Next, the objective of my study is to explore the various relationships between man and nature in Ruskin Bond's short story, Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright, through the lens of eco-criticism. Hypothesis. It is assumed that Ruskin Bond's short story, Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright, illuminates that everything is connected to each other, and destruction of one element of earth destroys the entire universe. And I have applied the textual analysis of the short story through the conceptual tools of eco-criticism to investigate the relationship between man and nature. And now I would just like to present the analysis of the complete study. First of all, I would like to give you a very short summary of the present story, the Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright. The setting of the story is around a heavy forest on the left bank of river Ganga. And the story is all about a lonely old tiger of the forest whose family had sought in search of trophies by hunters. And most of the wild animals leave this jungle as their habitat is always getting intervened either by hunters or refugee settlers. And it led the tiger to remain alone over there. It couldn't able to move because of its old age. And there are villages on the fringe of the forest inhabited by simple living farmers and bamboo cutters. And the most important conclusion, or we can say the main analysis of this work, or the short story, reveals a great ecological attention of us, because what we came to know that there is a supremacy of man on nature. In the very introduction of the story attracts ecological attention as it displays human supremacy over trees and animals. Ruskin Bond bitterly castigates anthropogenic activities that reveals this forest as an ideal hunting ground for hunters for the last 70 years, which resulted in reducing number of animals and disappearing of trees. Bond echoes the pathetic condition of animals who live in constant fear of unsettled and very life, as they don't know when men will appear again with tractors, bulldozers, and dynamite. The second, what we came to know that Ruskin Bond also presented harmonious relationship between tiger and villagers. The story depicts the harmonious relationship between the lonely tiger and the villager, as we came to know that Ramu and Shyam, the two village boys, often comes to the forest with their buffaloes. The tiger never worries at their presence as it knows villagers do not harm to it until their buffaloes are safe. On the other hand, villagers also know that this tiger was not at all interested in humans. And even they also acknowledge the majesty of the king of the jungle and don't want to make him angry and thus call him uncle or maharaja. The culture orientation of villagers regarding reverence of tiger promotes ecological vision. And third most important analysis which I find after studying that there is a conflict, man nature, the man and beast conflict we are going to find as there is a conflict between tiger and villagers arises at the story proceed. What we came to know that the harmonious relationship between the tiger and villagers collapses when the tiger hunts Ramu's buffalo out of extreme hunger for more than 5 days. And the villagers get incredibly hurt in the tiger's act of killing their domestic animal, and they become enemy of the tiger's life in retaliation. At last, the villagers successful in making it run away from the forest. But the victory of villagers soon turns into a defeat as they soon realizes its bitter consequences. At first, the villagers were glad because they felt their buffaloes were not safe, but soon realizes that the tiger has gone, but their protector has gone, leaving the forest open and vulnerable, easily destroyable by the human habitation. And at last, I come to the conclusion of my study that Tiger Tiger Burning Right is in fact not a short story about suffering of a lonely tiger, but a story of all wild animals. It is also about the universal harmony as forest, tiger, and man are interdependent and part of the great chain of survival. By calling the endangered beast the soul of India, Ruskin Bond has reinforced the principles of ecological balance. And at last, I just conclude that the bond has skillfully conveys the message of save tigers, save wildlife, save humanity in the plot of this story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Anita Alda.
Thank you, sir.
This was a moving story, and it is really very interesting to understand the very complex relationship between man and nature, human beings and animals, because with the advent of industrialization, we have been wiping out jungles and mountains and digging out four-lane roads, huge buildings, clusters of concrete jungles.
Yes,
So this
sir.
is really interesting to have such kind of an analysis in literature in today's time, and it is the need of the hours
Yes,
to
sir.
yeah. So any questions, please? We have paucity of time, and I would request the next presenter, who is Mrs. Amrita Mogar, a research scholar, Department of English, Karnataka University, Dharwad. So please present, and I would request that please stick to the time limit. We have paucity of time. So please try to finish it in 10 minutes. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good.
My name is Amrita Mogir from Karnataka University, Dharwad. My paper is Glimpses of Modernism, India and Cultural Heritage in Burial Sparks, Memento Mori. Memento Mori is written by a great scholar, the great Scottish novelist, Burial Sparks. In his novel, she and explores the glimpses of modern technology, media, and cultural diversity through various characters. Memento Mori is about death in itself a timeless subject, but specifically about death as variously preserved, feared, denied, and anticipated by the elderly. As medical treatment and technology continue to improve, especially in affluent developed countries, death is postponed longer and longer for more and more people. But this is a mixed blessing. This is the simple but brilliant device of an anonymous telephone caller who says to all the principal characters at one time or another, remember, you must die. They presume it is a non-caller or suspect that one of their enemies or hostile relatives is trying to frighten them. But the caller speaks in different voices and accent to different people and has an unaccountable knowledge of their movement. Various explanations of the sources of the calls are proposed, but none fits all the evidence. The police are baffled, and the retired inspector Mortimer, himself a suspect in some eyes, concludes in man is death himself. This, though literally absurd, is metaphorically near as we get a solution of the mystery. When Memento Mori was published, Spark was just 41, and she published this novel in 1959. She was relatively late started as a writer of fictions, having pursued a little notice's career as a poet, critic, and editor. Before she wrote a first novel, The Comforters, it was published in 1957 after experiencing a nervous breakdown and conversion to the Roman Catholic Church. And the four novels that followed a quick succession that is Robinson, it was published in 1958, Memento Mori, it was published in 1959, and The Ballad of Buckingham Bray, it was published in 1960, and The Bachelor, it was published in 1960, established her as a distinctive new voice in contemporary fiction. The next one, The Prime of Mr. Jean Brodie, it was published in 1962, made her a star in the literary firmament, but Memento Mori was her first masterpiece. It is a broad and understudied cultural phenomena and experience. The term Memento Mori, a Latin injunction that means that remember mortality or more directly, remember that you must die, its meaning. Never forget that you must die, the death will come sooner than you expect. God has written the letter of death upon your hands. In this inside of your hands, you will see the letters MM or Memento Mori. It means, remember, Letty Colston, I am the first to receive such a call. She and her brother Godfrey share a house with Godfrey's wife, Charmin, who is recovering from a stroke that affected her mentally and physically. Letty reported the call to the police. At first, it does not bother about her, but she gradually becomes obsessed. Godfrey, although concerned with Chairman's care, is often lost in sexual fantasies and practices. Her former lover, Lisa Brock, an excellent character, attended her funeral. This includes her absential husband, Gail Lee, who is Charlotte's former lover. Later, he learns that Lisa had a previous marriage, so there was not a legal. He convinces Godfrey to hire Lisa's former housekeeper to assist with Chairman's care. This proves that bad mood, and as Mrs. Pettigrew transfer her blackmailing schemas from Lisa's success to Godfrey. The Constance ignore the ways of Jane Tyler, Charmina's former companion who lives in nursing home. In, in art and cultural history, Memento Mori appears widely, especially in medieval folk literature and in the well-known Dutch still life variants partings of the 16th and 17th century. Yes, Memento Mori extends well beyond these points in art and cultural history. In the documentaries, the Memento Mori explains that Benjamin Bennett Carpenter suggested that documentaries are, and especially apt from contemporary Memento Mori. Here, the elderly people are afraid of this Frank call, but they thought that in they thought that somebody are pretending us. But after the police inquiry, they knew that okay, some our workers had done this. Each time Dame Vicky Colston answered the telephone, the anonymous caller announces that remember you must die. This is always frequently used by this burial spot. Sorry, unread by the calls.
Please,
The
please
old woman,
try to conclude. Please try to conclude.
yes, sir.
Yes.
Dame Licky and all the characters are very curious about who made this call and they inquire about this all those things and later they get the answer that okay some farmer officers are made this call because this Godfrey and her sister is and all the elderly characters are very punctual in their work. So in that memento mori, she want to explain that how the characters are equally all the elderly characters are sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Shall I conclude, sir?
Yeah, please conclude.
Because I'm yeah. And
Yeah, please.
okay, at last I conclude with the one quotation from W.B. Yeats' poem that is, what shall I do with absurdity, O heart, or troubled heart? This caricature dictates age that has been tied to me as to dog's tail because it's always round and round with this all the elderly characters. That's why Muriel Sparks explains that how the characters are around us this modern technology has been used in this and cultural heritage and all those things has been explained in this particular novel. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation. And I'll invite the next speaker. And then in the end, if we have time, we'll invite questions to your presentation also. So
Sir?
next speaker is, yeah, I said we'll invite the next speaker. And in the end, if we have time, we'll invite questions for both the presenters, together. Is that okay? Yes. Nidhi Jaiswal, Assistant Professor of English at BDMM College, Shikohabad. Please take over.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to all. So I'm going to present a paper on understanding wrong body epistemology, a study of trans autobiographies. So I
Right.
wanted
And
to
yeah, Nidhi,
present
please try to conclude in 10 minutes.
yeah, I know
Please.
we
Yeah.
are running short of time. So can I present a presentation now?
Yeah, please. Go. Yes, Nidhi, please go on.
I guess I'm facing some issues with this. So let
What
me try
you want to
once
make a
and
part?
then
You want to share your screen?
yeah, I want to share my screen.
Okay. Onidi, you may simply start with the presentation.
Yeah, I'm just trying for the last time.
Okay, okay.
Just give me a minute.
No, I understand. There is a lot of hard work involved with the PPTs and all.
Is it visible to all?
No, we can't see it. I think you may go ahead
Okay,
with
yes.
the yeah,
So,
please,
yeah.
please.
So I'm reading my paper, right?
Yeah.
So, the transgender experience is explained as a case of being in the wrong body, a dichotomy at the heart of the concept of wrong body. This sense of wrongness is framed in terms of the body's gendering, with the implication being that that the body is incorrectly categorized as belonging to a particular gender category. Feminist, queer, and trans political and theoretical perspectives all offer critiques of the wrong body idea. This paradigm is criticized for the potential limiting effects it has on a genuine transsexual medicine discourse. Harry Benjamin, in his foundational text, The Transsexual Phenomenon, describes transsexual who are male to female (MTF) as he lives only for the day when his female soul is no longer being outraged by his male body, when he has functioned as a female socially, legally, and sexually. Furthermore, he explains transsexuality is being trapped in a wrong body. This wrong body narrative is contrary to the true self. It is noteworthy to state that for transsexuals, the body they are born with gives them discomfort until they get their true self, which is possible through appropriate medical treatment. Though feminist, queer, and trans political and theoretical perspectives all offer critiques of the wrong body idea, but Indian trans narratives accepts the Western clinicians' idea of them as being trapped in a wrong body. Indian trans autobiographies, memoir, biography like Erewathi's The Truth About Me, Living Smile Vidya's I Am Vidya, and Manobi Bandhopadhyay's A Gift of Goddess Lakshmi, they are all account of somatic transitions which play a very significant role in their lives. Body is the central focus of life writings for them. It is written in and out of the body. They discuss body as personally experienced and socially constructed. Um, these both are the main points they have explored and explained through their life experiences. Struggle in their lives begin with the realization of their body they are born with. It doesn't align with their mind or spirit they experience, and this conflict between mind and body lead them to fight against all the social norms which stop their desire of becoming their own selves. So the various experiences and life events are presented using body as a focal point. As a result, their autobiographies become body narratives. In contrast, trans narratives establish a dual consciousness. They do not recognize themselves in the reflections of cultural representation, resulting in the development of a dual consciousness, self as culturally defined and self as distinct from the cultural definition. This idea of self further develops identity crisis in them. So transsexuals experience a conflict between their gender assignment made at birth on the basis of anatomical appearance and their sense of gender identity. They find themselves incapable of identifying with the set norms of society. So, since we are running very short of time, so I am concluding with some textual analysis of these writers. So I'm quoting one by one. So first I start with A. Revati's The Truth About Me, where she explains her experience, like how does she feel when she was a male, and then how she wanted to change herself. So here I'm quoting from her autobiography. A woman trapped in a man's body was how I thought of myself. But how could that be? Would the world accept me thus? I longed to be known as a woman and felt pain at being considered a man. I longed to be with men, but felt shamed by this feeling. Why? Am I a flawed being? I wondered often. So, A. Revati, who was Dorai Sami when she was a male, this name was given to.
Are you still speaking, Lily? Or I think we lost connection with Lily. So we'll go ahead. Anybody, any questions for Anita Alta and Nidhi Jaiswal? Right. So thank you very much. I think Nidhi cannot hear us. If Nidhi, you can hear, please wave back. This was really a wonderful session. We had presentations right from immigration crisis to uh, transgender. Yes, Nidhi, are you there?
Yes, Eddie, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. Can
Yeah,
you hear
I
me?
think we lost
I think
connection with
we
you.
lost connection with you. Oh,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
So
right.
I
So,
wanted to comment back on your presentation. This was really nice to hear from you, and perhaps we could it could have been a delightful experience had we enough time to hear more on autobiographical narratives, how transgenders feel about their own presentation and cultural exclusion in the society. But then anyway, in such a short span of time, you were able to convey the things really well. So we had a wonderful, spectrum of presentations, right from immigration crisis to man versus nature, and then to transgender, uh, crisis. So here we conclude. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, and over to Go Green, sir.